My name is AaronBenton, and I'm a partner at Stellar Senior Living. We're based in Salt Lake City. I'm a partner overseeing the sales and marketing efforts at Stellar Living. So we had the unique opportunity to survey the landscape and to really look and see what is out there. And we searched and demoed countless numbers of systems. There are systems out there that are just systems, and then there are systems that sort of come with a culture. Well, we wanted that system that came with a culture because, well, we're new. We needed that sales culture. We needed a curriculum and a discipline to constantly reference and a common language. So when we're looking for that sales culture, along with the system, that narrows it down to just a small handful in the industry of senior living. And so I actually spent some time. I went out, took a couple of road trips and went to a couple of conferences specific to any given senior living sales system with cultures. And then I spent a long time trying to figure out what this DEI system was all about. When we looked at competition, I think we found that DEI had several items that stayed behind once the DEI folks left and they discontinued their initial implementation training. But I think to come with culture, and the culture I'm speaking of really has to do with literature and studying. So we have our people now that we're using it, continually revisit the text and revisit the curriculum, because there's a lot of concepts that come with DEI that are central to its success. It's not just a computer program. It's so much more than that. So we're glad to prove that. So my initial trepidation was we just wanted to make sure that it was right. So not having any program at all and putting one in, it would be gut-wrenching, it would be difficult, it would be disappointing if we had to put it in and a year later rip it out. And I think we've all experienced that in some way, shape, or form with systems on the whole in a company. But we wanted to make sure we had the right system. So we really spent some time understanding what it was, and we put them through the ringer. So my team is my three other partners, and they're working on any number of other aspects in the business. And it was interesting. Being early on in the company, we knew that revenue growth, census growth was number one. So we had to all really focus on that. And we had countless conference calls with Janine at DEI. We had countless conference calls with DEI. And I think we got to a point where we were asking the same questions, hoping for more expanded answers, just so that we can understand every single thing. But I'd say that getting buy-in, we were all part of the process, and that's something that's unique. So we all got to put our heads together, and the more we learned about DEI, the happier we were, the more comfortable we were with moving forward. So the onboarding process is a couple phases of buy-in. First, they get all the EDs together. And so EDs get together on a specific ED retreat with home office, leadership at home office. And we spend a couple of days in a conference room talking about general concepts. We go through the sales board and we just learn that common language. So that's the first phase of buy-in. Of course, it was a really nice time with us. We took them out to dinner. We took it as an opportunity, of course, to bring our leaders together and to build on that as well. And then the EDs took this back to their locations, and they conveyed the general concepts of the DEI system to their locations. Phase two, we went into a 6-week period where we just jumped into the actual sales board use. So with our marketing people, we call them family advisors, and our EDs, we just went. You just got to flip the switch at one point. So you just went to, Tuesdays at 10, we're going to have weekly sales meetings and we're going to use this sales board. And you know, there was a little bit of touch and go at the beginning, but in the end it was actually a quick turnaround to learning the system. And so 6 weeks of that. Phase 3, we brought everyone together. That's marketing and salespeople and EDs and home office leadership. And we spent another 2 days. Now that we understand the language, we understand the system and how we use it, and DEI did some specific training on sales techniques, outreach techniques, so on and so forth. Just sort of put some polish and sort of put a bow on the whole system before they could send us off. And by the time we got to the end of all of that, we had seen census growth. We had seen a number of things that were very encouraging. So before we brought the DEI system on, we kind of went through this cycle of boom and bust as far as census growth. And I think a lot of it was our own doing. We put together contests, and we would, you know, pump people up to bring in new residents before the end of any given month or the end of any given quarter. And it's funny to look back and draw up the census for the entire company, because before DEI was brought in, it was literally, it looked like a heartbeat being scrawled on a piece of paper. Boom, bust, boom, bust, boom, bust. And really, it's hard to draw a straight line through that and see whether we really were growing census. But as soon as we brought the DEI system on board, that heartbeat that was jumping up and down, it's almost like someone just grabbed hold of that, and a nice steady movement in occupancy from then forward. We've got 6 months of that now, so pretty awesome. If we weren't using DEI today, I think we'd still be searching. I think we'd still be searching for the answer. So we're glad we found the answer. I recommend DEI to other companies in the industry. If anything, because it puts focus on the activities that are the most valuable. So for example, I went to a conference recently, and I ran a sort of small marketing roundtable discussion. And there were marketers and executives over marketing from various senior living operations at the table. I found it interesting that they wanted to talk about all of the things that might not go to the center of what's most important. For example, to talk about radio ads and to talk about print ads. Those are good parts, but it's really, these are not the activities that really drive sales. You know, there's a difference between sales and marketing. Marketing is the message we put out into the world, hoping that we can generate an inquiry or a phone call. Sales is actually bringing them in and consulting with them, etc. You find that people in this business, they want to talk about marketing. So another thing we had, they want to talk about follow-up. Follow-up is a really good thing, and so how do you follow up? Well, and that's where you can get sort of distracted with the various systems that are out there and all the bells and whistles and the organization. That's good, follow-up is good, but DEI just cuts through right to the heart of what's the most advantageous thing to do, and that just has to do with dealing with your prospects that are that have the highest probability to close, and constantly qualifying those prospects, constantly qualifying those prospects along the way to decide whether they still want to play ball with you and still have that high propensity to close. So when DEI did their countless number of demos for us, they showed us what their software looked like. And it's basically a pipeline software. They call it a sales board, and it's web-based. It's very simple. It's a bird's eye view. But I remember what it felt like in that room when me, my partners, and I saw that. And I think we all turned to each other at the end of that meeting and said, I want that. And so DEI has a leave behind that we actually use on a daily basis that's fully integrated into our business. And this leave behind, this sales pipeline software, allows me at the home office level to diagnose quickly and directly what's wrong with the sales pipeline at any given location. It's great to see that. And also, the sales pipeline software, it allows the marketer or the salesperson to organize their sales pipeline activity. In fact, we didn't have a tough time putting it into our locations because we said this pipeline, this sales pipeline software that's online will take the place of your whiteboard that you have at your location. And it was pretty easy. So, in the end, DEI focuses the activity on the most probable leads to close. You know, we only have 24 hours in a day, and so it's use your finite schedule, your finite, slate of time, and put it in the most beneficial place. That's what DEI does. And there are tons of prospects out there. How do you know your salespeople are spending the time with the right opportunities, the most probable opportunities to close and to move into your community? That's what DEI does.